Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Sofia Ortega, and I will be sharing with you my STEM story. And this presentation is brought to you by Nuevo Foundation. So, thank you for being here. I will be sharing my presentation with you in just a second. All right, perfect. So, as I mentioned, this presentation would be about my STEM story. So now let's get started. A little bit about me. My name is Sofia Ortega. I am originally from Durango, Durango, Mexico. Durango is a city and the capital of the state of Durango, which is in the north of Mexico. I don't know if you are able to see it um, here on the map, but that's where I am from. That's my hometown, and that's where I spent the first 18 years of my life. My whole family still lives in there. And at age 18, I decided that I wanted to study in the US. So I made the decision and I moved to Texas, to El Paso in Texas, which is the border city between Mexico and the US, um, in order to study or to pursue my bachelor's degree in industrial and systems engineering. So at 18, I moved to El Paso to study my bachelor's, and I recently graduated in 2020. And of course, COVID was happening or is still happening, but back at the time, I had a virtual graduation, and here I included the picture of me celebrating with my family. Then during my senior year, I had the opportunity to take master level classes. So by the time or at the time when I graduated, I had already taken I get like 50% of the coursework needed to graduate from a master's degree. So then I stayed there for one more year and was able to graduate from my master's in manufacturing engineering. Also, during my studies, I had the opportunity to study abroad in Lille, France. This is a city in the north of France. It's actually closer to Brussels than it is to Paris, and it was pretty interesting. And got the opportunity to practice my French. That I studied during my time in Durango. I studied French for around 7 years, so that was pretty good. Also, during my studies, I had the opportunity to attend several conferences. This picture that you're looking at on the bottom left corner is me attending the Forbes Under 30 Summit. I was elected as one of Forbes Under 30 Scholar. And some other conferences that I have attended are the IISC, which is Industrial and Systems Engineering Conference, then the SHIP one, which is Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, then also the HINAC one, and a bunch of different conferences for engineers, especially Latino engineers. Some other things that I like to do besides my studies and besides family are to play soccer. In the past, I used to play it a lot. I was in three different teams, but then I was more focused on my studies, but I kept watching it. And actually, as you see here, this is a picture of me in Rostov on Don when I attended the FIFA World Cup. I went there by myself. I saved like a lot of money during my study abroad experience in order to be able to attend these FIFA World Cup. So I was able to do it. And some other thing that I really like doing is spending time with my puppy or dog. As you can see her here, her name's Kira, and she is 9 months old now. So she's not these small now anymore. All right, so let's talk now about my STEM journey. I graduated from high school in back in 2015, and at that time I didn't know which type of engineering I wanted to pursue. I knew that I wanted to do something related to STEM, so science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, and I knew that I wanted to be an engineer, but I didn't know what type of engineer. So someone gave me the advice that I should select like a general type of engineering. I don't know if this was good or bad, but for example, if I were to study like nanoparticles engineering, I don't know if that is even a thing, but i- if I got like if I was like studying that, and then like during my junior or senior year I decided that I wanted to change to a different type of engineering field, then all the classes would have been well, not wasted, but it would have been harder to move to a different engineering field. So that's why I decided to go for industrial engineering for my bachelor's, and I'm glad I did, because I think that I am really a type of person who's not really interested in spending a lot of time perhaps designing a component and the different materials or the different like I don't know electrical currents that go through it, but I am more of an active and a people person. So I like to work with different processes, to work with different people. So I think that I made the right decision when I selected industrial and systems engineering. So, well, that was 2015. So then in 2016, I joined several different student organizations from different colleges. This picture here is actually me in my Women in Business Association volunteering event. So as you see, I joined several organizations in the College of Business, Liberal Arts, engineering, and that I think opened my eyes into what people from different colleges are doing, are like where are they spending their time, what yes, basically how their lives are, and that made me even more sure of what that that my engineering degree was the right choice for me. So then in 2017, um, I I applied to several different student employment positions. I got interviewed for several of them, and I got rejected for most of them. But at the beginning of this year, I was able to get my first student employment opportunity at the Office of International Programs. So what I did there, or what that office does, is basically helping international students or students from other countries in their visa process, and helping them to maintain a good immigration status. So that was very interesting for me because I was an international student, so I could understand things better for me, and I was also able to share the information better with some other international students. So I was really passionate, and I am still very passionate about that. And also on this year, I was accepted to participate in a faculty-led program, which was basically about having a class half of the time here, or 2 weeks here in Texas, and then 2 weeks in a different country. In this case, it was Ensenada, Baja California in Mexico. So it was not really a study abroad experience for me, but it was pretty interesting anyways. And we created a prototype that was able to capture water from the fog. So that opened me the doors to start being involved in research activity related to sustainability. So at that time in 2017, I was working as a student research assistant, and also as well, yes, as a peer advisor in the Office of International Programs. So I was doing these two jobs. It was exhausting, but I was doing these with the goal of being able to save enough money so I could pay for my study abroad experience in France. And luckily enough, I was able to get into the university that I wanted in the country that I wanted. So in 2018, from January till July, I was in Europe, in Lille, France, as I mentioned, in the north of France. And during this time, I was able to visit around 12 countries. And also during that time, I had my first professional interviews, and I was actually offered an internship position at a very good company. But at the time, I was already saving my money, and I had this big dream of going to the FIFA World Cup in Russia. And I just bought my tickets for one of Mexico's matches, and I was really excited that some of my family members and also some of my friends were going to visit me to do like a tour around Europe. And I decided that that was making me happy, and that would make me happier than if I were to move to a city in the US to work for the summer. So then I took the that hard decision and I rejected that internship offer. And I thought that was the end of my life, the end of my professional life, that I wouldn't get like any other offer for the rest of my life. And yeah, all those kind of things that people think about when they reject a good opportunity, and especially as an international student, because I don't know if you know this, but getting those types of opportunities is not very common as an international student in the US. So that happened. And then little did I know, in 2019, I received an offer from Cummins, which is a great company, to work to yeah, to work with them during the summer. So I was a supplier quality improvement engineer intern during that summer, and I lived in Columbus, Indiana. That is where their headquarters are located. So it was a great opportunity, and I was super happy about it. And then in 2020, I graduated from my bachelor's in industrial and systems engineering with a minor in mathematics. And by that time, I realized, as I mentioned, that it would take me only one more year to finish my master's degree. So I went for it. And during that summer between my graduation and the sort of beginning of my master's degree, I had the opportunity to intern with Microsoft as a program manager intern. So basically, what I was doing was getting to know the company, and I also had the chance to work with Surface Duo buttons, so that was pretty amazing. And then in after my internship with Microsoft, and right at the beginning of my master's degree, I was offered a graduate research assistant position, and my boss or my manager or my professor in this case suggested me to work on a thesis. And but that thesis of course would involve like coding and Python and Jupyter notebooks and all these things that I didn't know anything about, or perhaps just briefly touch on during my bachelor's degree. So then I decided that yes, that was something that I was interested in, to pursue my master's with the thesis option. And I did. I took a lot of different boot camps, courses. It took me a while to get familiar with how the coding and Python world works, but I was able to do it. And thanks to that, I was able to do my thesis using some algorithms, natural language processing algorithms. So this was pretty interesting. This is actually something I never thought that I would have been able to do. So it was amazing, and it opened me a whole new world of opportunities and ideas. So this summer I graduated from my master's and I successfully defended my thesis. And then right after graduation, I was offered to come back to Microsoft as a full-time employee, and to work as a PM. So that is what I have been doing for the last 2 months or 6 weeks. So, how is my life as a program manager at Microsoft? So, basically, I am a dev, meaning development PM, and I am mainly in charge of these three things: schedule, driving the design maturity of our new products. So, I work really close with suppliers, with a whole team of different types of engineers. I work with mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, radio frequency engineers, reliability engineers, and I work with them to make sure that our designs are robust, that are good, and that we can meet schedule. And that is just one pillar. Then for the cost, I also work very closely with our sourcing team, and in order to ensure that we are getting a good cost, and while also getting and providing our customers the best quality in our components and products. So that concludes my presentation about me. So now I would like to tell you some advice or some things that I consider are important for you. So the first thing would be believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to do it. You gotta believe in yourself. You gotta auto motivate yourself. You gotta be like your biggest advocate and to invest in you, to believe that you can do things. Then, number two, if you can dream about it, you can achieve it. If you have a dream, it's not just because. If you have a dream, that means that you have everything inside of you to make it real and to make it come true. Then, the third thing I have here is to be grateful. I think this is very important because when you wake up in the morning, like you have all these opportunities to be grateful for. You have the opportunity to get an education, to be here today, to have like support people around you, and that is something that we really need to consider on a day-to-day basis. Then the fourth thing that I have here is dreams don't work unless you do. So as I mentioned, like I had this big dream of going to France, but I didn't sit until it came true. I work for that, and you gotta work for what you dream about. You need to work, put in the work, have goals, and if you work for them, you will get them. Then the last thing that I have here is don't try to plan your entire life. Sometimes we think that if we have everything planned, everything will be great, and we just need to like to follow or yes, to work according to our plans, and that is not true for most of the time, because life happens, things happen, and you don't need to have every single piece put together. You also need to leave room for uncertainty and for some other things, even perhaps better things that might happen to you. Now, well, I mentioned that this presentation was brought to you by Nuevo Foundations. So their mission is basically to inspire kids to be curious, confident, and courageous by discovering the world of STEM. And here I included their information. Here is their Instagram account, then their website and their email. So if you want or are interested in being part of this organization or would like to collaborate with them, please feel free to contact us. Now, here I included also a feedback link. So if you would like to provide some feedback to me, to the organization, please feel free to do it. And finally, that concludes the presentation. Thank you very much.